Hey chums, welcome back to a Game with Chums podcast. I'm your host, the glorious, mighty Paulus, the best of the best, the worst of the worst, the biggest of the biggest, the middest of the mid, the biggest of the biggest. I'm everything. But that voice you can hear is my glamorous assistant, Mr. Rawls. Mr. Rawls, how the hell are you? I want to know right now.
Highly confused.
You always look confused.
That's just my I use my old laptop for this, and it's not weak by any means, but it's like having issues and telling me I have low system resources when I have two browser tabs and Zoom open, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
Is it doing is it doing an update in the background?
No, I don't think so. It's just acting bizarre, and it keeps. And I mean, it's on my end, but for me, Paul keeps like breaking up, so it's not ideal. But we will persevere. We'll push through it.
We'll push through. That's what we're all about.
Professionals.
Oh, apparently we don't know what we're talking about when it comes to VR, but we're not qualified enough to give her an opinion about VR gaming. So yeah, we got told that.
Yeah, it's not like going 3 headsets, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even then I'm not like hardcore VR player, so it's a fair point. I am fairly casual VR, but I still have some insight into it. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. Let's move on. We've got some couple of subjects to talk about today. As you know, the Game Awards nominees have been announced, and some interesting choices there. And some of the choices I thought, I knew they were going to be in there. Some weren't in there. But also we got Sony looking to buy a big publisher in Japan. Do you wanna lead with that, Mr. Rose?
Why not?
Yeah.
So this came out sort of earlier in the week, and I suppose it'll be last week by the time this goes up. But as Reuters announced, or put a story out that Sony were looking to acquire Kadokawa, which is the parent company of From Software, and as well as some other smaller developers like Spike Chunsoft and Acquire. But yeah, I mean, they're a huge company. Not like huge in the terms of like Activision Blizzard huge, but in terms of like how they're diversified, they're a lot bigger. Activision Blizzard is basically just gaming, whereas Kadokawa's got like fingers in loads of pies, anime and manga, film production, apps like Bookwalker they own as well, I think, and just I think Nico, like the Japanese YouTube like site, they own that as well. They own a lot of stuff. They're very, very diversified, so it's a big deal that Sony's looking to buy them. People are only focusing on like From Software and going, oh no, they're going to make From Software exclusive, which to be fair, they probably will. I mean, it's going to suck for Xbox and PC players if they do that. But yeah, it's about a lot more than that, because obviously Sony have like their Sony Pictures and their Sony Music arms as well, and they produce films and animation and stuff. But also, one thing a lot of people are looking at is like anime production and distribution, because obviously what happened, was it a year ago now, 2 years ago? Sony, having already owned Funimation, went out and bought Crunchyroll, so now they have a massive slice of the anime distribution pie, and this is probably going to further that. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. They already got a monopoly on the anime. So
got a big slice of that pie, that's for sure.
Huge slice of that pie. What can I say about it? I mean, it'll be hypocritical to say that shouldn't happen, because Xbox went and bought many studios and publishers. So yeah, I can see what they're doing. I don't know if they got the finances to do it. Probably they got some money tucked away somewhere in their sock, so they probably could do it.
Crusty old sock.
Yeah, and will they do it? I mean, yeah, they talk about it. Do they want to sell? I mean, do they have to? Are they in any particular need to sell? Probably not, to be honest. I mean, just their gaming division alone is doing pretty well multi-platform. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Sold what, 25 million copies or something. So I mean,
Hmm.
they don't need to sell in that sense, but I've seen some whispers. I don't know if there's actually any credence to this or if it's just people kind of making it up to try and make themselves okay with industry consolidation after spending 2 years arguing against the Activision thing. But apparently there's a Korean company called Kakao who owns like a chunk of it already. And I think
Hmm.
I've seen some speculation that they're looking to up their investment. So and that people at Kadokawa would rather a Japanese company own them. Um, Again, I don't know if that's just speculation from people that just want to kind of make it look okay or not. But yeah, Sony have filed a letter of intent. Kadokawa came out and made a statement about that. So they're certainly aiming to do it. But whether it will happen or not is up in the air at the moment because it might draw other bigger companies into it. Like Tencent might decide to take a look and it might turn into a bit of a bidding war. But I think Sony have got like $12 billion on hand, like cash on hand. And this would probably, I think their market cap's sort of somewhere around 4 billion, but obviously they'd have to pay a bit of a premium. So they'd probably be looking at, I don't know, maybe like 6 billion, which would be half of their cash on hand. So they could do it.
Mm.
But yeah, just have to wait and see
Yeah.
what happens, I guess. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a large part of like the Souls fandom is on PC, so I think those PC Souls fans are going to be very upset if that happens because either they're going to go exclusive or they're going to end up like timed exclusive, like Sony currently does with its first party. Um, for me, I'm not really that interested in FromSoft's games. I tried to get into Dark Souls 1 about 5 times and got about halfway through. It was the furthest I got and just didn't really enjoy it all that much. So it wouldn't bother me too much if they could go exclusive. But clearly the games are very popular, so it would bother a lot of people if they were.
Yeah.
But who
Okay.
knows?
Cool.
Maybe Sony will surprise everyone and keep it all multi-plat. But I wouldn't bet on that myself.
Mm. Okay. Cool. Well, we can only wait and see. What we can talk about is also the Game Awards. The nominations been announced. I've never really been a big fan of the Game Awards, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of awards in general. I like developers to be um, recognized and sort of awarded for their work, obviously. But for me personally, like I've never really been a big fan of the Oscars or music awards and stuff like that. It is normally people just like rich people already getting like their egos inflated even more, stuff like that, and just a big circle jerk, really, to be honest with you, with especially the Oscars.
I
But
like
Game
it for the
Award,
indie games. The indie games deserve a bit in the time in the
mm,
spotlight. But
I
then you
mean,
have
like,
things like what happened last year with the big like flashing "please wrap it up" stuff when people were trying to do their speeches, and it's like
yeah, give them
you
the
want to,
moment.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do prefer the Game Awards over like other awards. It does help a game sell, especially well, they've already sold pretty well. That's why probably they got nominated. But like, yeah, the indie games get more recognition and stuff like that. So that's good. But have you got the awards open? The
I
nominees,
do. I
sorry.
have the nominees,
Should
the
we?
full
Should we're
list.
not gonna? What, do you want to go through all of them, or you just want to go through the main ones?
We'll go through sort of some of the main ones because there's stuff like best, I don't know what it is, like trending content creator or something and stuff like that. But
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that.
we'll go through like the main ones. But might as well start with the main one that everyone cares about, eh? Game of the
Game
year.
of the year. What's the
And the
nominees?
nominees are Astrobot, Team Asobi, Balatro, or Balatro. I'm not sure how people say it. I haven't played it. I don't like card games. I'm never going to play it. By Local Funk. Black Myth Wukong by Game Science. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. Now, if you remember, there was an announcement like a week ago. They said, oh, by the way, DLC is eligible for Game of the Year this year. And now it makes sense why, because Shadow of the Erd Tree, which is the expansion for Elden Ring, is up for Game of the Year. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from Square Enix. And then Metaphor ReFantazio from Studio Zero Atlas is the final nominee for Game of the Year. I've
Ooh,
played one
very,
of those games.
very Japanese heavy.
Well, Japanese and Chinese heavy. Yeah,
Mm,
I'm not sure where the Balatro team are from, but other than that, all of those games are one of those games is Chinese and the rest are all Japanese. But yeah, that's kind
did
of a
you?
good thing, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Who do you think will win this award? Of the, if you had to guess now, or you have to make a calculated guess.
Um, Man, if they hadn't said DLC was um eligible, then I wouldn't. I would probably have said it was probably going to be between Rebirth and Metaphor. But then Black Myth also has a good shout because that did huge numbers when it came out. That was a huge thing. Um, and again, Astrobot is I think that's probably the best reviewed game this year off the top of my head. So and then Balatro has also been a massive phenomenon. I don't know. They're all like big parts of gaming discourse over the course of this year. So I think obviously, people will complain, but I think any one of them would probably be a worthy winner. No matter which one wins, people will complain. But as I
Yeah.
say, I've only played one of them. Metaphor is the only one of that entire list I've played, and it is extremely good. So I wouldn't be mad if that one. But yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of find that hard to pick. I don't think there's one game in particular that stands above the others there. Like they're shouting, yes, this is obviously going to be the winner, which is quite often the case. Quite often you'll look at the list of nominees and go, it's clearly going to be that.
Mm.
But this year, I'm not so sure. What about you?
Um, I think probably Astrobot's going to win it. I think that'll probably win. That got best reviewed. A lot of people liked it. Not too inoffensive. Very cutesy. The gameplay was good. I mean, I didn't play it. I had a copy, but I don't own a PS5, so I gave my copy to a friend. So yeah, but yeah, I think Astro Bot probably winning. I don't see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth winning it. The hype wasn't there as much for for remake. I don't think. I didn't feel it. I don't think it was as well received as remake. I mean, it still sold pretty well, and the fan reaction was pretty positive, especially old Tifa. But I don't think it's gonna win. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if any of them win. But Black Hand Wukong, I think probably actually I might change it to that. That might win it. That
Mm,
that got it didn't get reviewed as well. I mean, Starfield got better reviewed than that, but the fan reaction to that game was immense.
yeah,
People still,
it was
yeah,
huge when it came out.
yeah. So I think I have that or so between them two, I think Astrobot and Black Hand Wukong will probably win it. To be honest with you.
I think if they were going to make a statement, because I feel like they do that sometimes, they pick a winner to kind of underline a
Hmm.
certain thing, then Black
Yeah.
Myth could win because I think it would be a big deal for a Chinese game to win
Mm.
Game of the Year. And I think that would probably be quite a positive thing in
Mm.
general. But yeah, I
Aussie
mean, it was
vibes.
huge. It was huge when it came out. So, but,
Yeah, yeah. I kind of feel like that. The game looked great. I mean, there was an Xbox port on release, some controversy about that. There is going to be one, so when that releases, I'll probably give it a go. Um, but yeah, I think that will win. Okay, so let's kind of get through this a bit quicker. What's the next big category?
best game direction, same nominees. All the same
Uh,
nominees.
Bollocks. All right then. Let's just give a quick guess. Each one of us.
I don't think the same game will win both awards.
Okay, I said Black and Wukong. I'm going to say Astrobot for this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going to say Metaphor for that one, but I could see Astrobot as well.
yeah. All right, next category.
Best ongoing game.
Ooh.
Destiny 2, Diablo 4,
Ooh.
FF14, Fortnite, and
Ooh.
Helldivers 2. It's not going to be Helldivers 2 because
Ooh.
Sony fucking cut it off at
Mm,
the knees by
yeah,
locking people out on PC.
yeah. I say Final Fantasy 14 or God, I hope Fortnite doesn't win, but I could see it winning because just sheer popularity of the bloody
I feel
thing.
like it's won that award a number of times.
I
But I
mean, it
think
could win
Final
it
Fantasy
again.
14's won it once or twice at least.
So what? So you think it should go to someone who hasn't won it before?
Not necessarily. I don't think it's going to be Destiny 2 because that's kind of shit in the bed as well.
Diablo
Diablo
4.
4, Diablo 4 has been good, but as we'll maybe touch on a bit later, people fucking hate that game despite it being a very good game. So I don't think
Yeah.
it'll be that. Um, I don't know. Helldivers 2 was huge when it came out, but then Sony kind of destroyed their own game. So don't think you can really call that best ongoing game. I don't know. Probably going to be between FF14 and Fortnite.
Cool. All right. Next category, please. Drum
Best
roll.
performance. Brianna White from FF7 Rebirth. That was Aerith. Hannah Tell from Life is Strange Double Exposure. She was Max. Humberly Gonzalez from Star Wars Outlaws. She's the main character in that, whose name escapes me.
No, she ain't gonna fucking win because of the discord between that game. She ain't gonna win that. So yeah, sorry.
Luke.
But
This says Luke Robers. I don't know if it's supposed to be Roberts, but Silent Hill 2. I'm guessing he was
James
James Sutherland.
Sun-
And Melina Jurgens as Senua in Hellblade 2, which I
Oh
don't think
fuck
she'll
no.
win because
No.
she won it for
Yeah.
Hellblade 1, and then again that game came out and reviewed exactly the same as the first game, but people
Shit.
hate that game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next section.
It's
In
going to
next
be
part.
Brianna White, 100%. It's going to be Brianna White winning that
Yeah.
as
Okay.
Aerith.
Yep.
Best mobile game, we don't care.
Yeah. Next one.
Best art direction,
Okay.
got Astrobot, Black Myth
Hey.
Wukong,
Hey.
Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree again,
Hey. Again, this is the same.
Metaphor, and Never or Neva, Neva. Haven't heard of that game.
I haven't heard of that. It's because I've already voted for the other three games. Metaphor.
I could see Metaphor winning that. It's a very
Al-
striking game.
Atlas do know how to make sexy looking games.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, like terms of art style and sexy.
Yeah,
Mm.
they're not the most technically impressive, but they just look
They got a
very striking.
style, very
Yeah.
stylish. Yeah.
And Metaphor
All right.
does look great.
Next category, please, if you will.
All right. Best score and music. Again,
Ooh.
Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
I can
Metaphor
see that one.
Fantasio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade.
Ooh, Stellar Blade got a nomination. Oh, I've not heard much of the music from Stellar Blade. I know Final Fantasy for Rebirth.
Mm.
Astrobot, I've heard some of their music. Who else was it?
Metaphor, Silent Hill 2.
I can see Silent Hill 2 winning that.
Yeah.
I can see that. But the thing with Silent Hill, I don't know. I just could go on a tangent. Is it me or is it most remakes of horror games becoming very similar? You know what I mean?
It seems to have been well received.
They're
I
coming
haven't
very
watched
samey.
anything of the
They're
Silent
coming.
Hill.
They play
I
very
haven't
the
watched
same.
anything of it because
I
I
mean,
want to experience it myself. But yeah,
yeah,
even
yeah.
from the first trailer, it looked very much like Resident Evil.
Yeah, they're
recent remakes.
coming a bit samey. You know what I mean? Very like sort of same control, same movement, same over the shoulder sort of camera. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go for Mass Effect, Final Fantasy VII remake because I know that's got banging music. Rebirth. That's got banging music.
I think it'll be between that and Metaphor. I'm going to say they give it to Shoji Meguro for Metaphor because that man deserves an award for years of great work.
Yeah, cool.
All right, let's skip a couple. Best adaptation.
Ooh.
We have Arcane, season 2 is recently dropped. Fallout, which is, let's face it, is going to win.
Yeah, I can see that one.
Knuckles. Is there a Knuckles thing? All I knew is that he was in the Sonic films from the second one.
God knows.
Like a Dragon Yakuza, which people
I haven't seen.
hate.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I quite liked
I'm
it.
not
I thought it
seeing
was
it.
quite fun.
Not seeing it.
And then Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft, which I think is the
Ah,
animated show, isn't it?
fuck, that's not going to win.
I haven't seen it.
No, that's not. I've seen a bit of it, and I was like, okay, I'm switching this off. Um, yeah, okay, it's going to be either Arcane or
It's Arcane or
Fallout.
Fallout, and it's going to be
Maybe
Fallout.
Fallout. Fallout. I have to admit, Fallout was great. I really enjoyed it. I
It's
thought
had
it was
like over
brilliant.
100 million viewers at this point as well.
Yeah, it's great.
It's been huge. Whereas
It.
Arcane, I'd imagine, I can't remember, but I bet Arcane won for season one when it came out.
Yeah,
So I think they want to give it to Fallout either way.
I've been watching season two. I'm not as hooked as I was on season one. But yeah, Fallout was great. I sort of binge watched the whole thing. That's how good it was. Yeah, it's my chip pick.
I think everyone's going to say
We should
Fallout
have
for that one.
done. What we should have done is done a little competition. I might go back over this when I upload
Yeah,
it.
note down our choices and then we can see
Yeah,
who
who
gets closer.
closest? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah.
All right, best narrative. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a
No.
Dragon Infinite Wealth,
Mm,
Metaphor Refantasio, Senua's
mm,
Saga Hellblade 2, and
no.
Silent Hill 2.
No. I'm going to discount two of those because they're remakes, and I know they deviate slightly. I know like Final Fantasy Rebirth sort of follows the same thing, but they obviously like remake it deviates, but it sort of follows the same beat patterns. It's like Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Like it follows the same sort of
It's
beats as
almost
the
like an
books.
adaptation.
Yeah, but it follows the same beat, but it goes off on its own like sort of way.
It's a slightly different path to get there.
Yeah. So I really want to discount. I don't really want to give remakes that. Um, so I want to give it to an original story or sequel. Um, so Metaphor was for me. Yeah, I feel
I've only
that could
played,
have been.
I own three of those, but I've only played two of them. I own Infinite Wealth, Metaphor, and Hellblade 2. I haven't played Infinite Wealth yet.
Hmm.
Metaphor, I haven't played enough of it. I've done like 15 hours on
Well,
it,
I
but it seems
like.
really good. So
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
go
still
for
give a
that.
pick. Oh, we've both gone for the same fucking thing. All right, cool. All
Yeah.
right then, let's go. Let's go. Mhm.
All right. What else have we got? Best community support: Baldur's
Ooh.
Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. I could
Oh,
see Baldur's Gate 3 winning this,
just for the popular
especially
vote.
as mods recently came out as well.
Yeah, yeah. They got mods on the console, and my sister is loving that. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna go for Baldur's Gate 3. What are you gonna go for? You're gonna go for the same? We can go for the same
Yeah,
one.
I
Yeah.
think
All
it's
right.
going to be Baldur's Gate 3
All right.
because
Cool.
obviously, I mean, it's been huge anyway, and it continues to be huge, and it's still kind
Mm.
of everywhere. You go to cons now, and there's like so much more D&D stuff there, and it's because of how big
Oh,
BG3 has been, and BG3 has been a big part of all the D&D stuff at cons, and then
I
obviously with
mean,
the mods coming out
we
recently.
we we bought our own dice, not specifically because of Baldur's Gate, but because it was there. It was so much of it,
Mm,
and we just wanted to get some of our own dice.
yeah. And
Hmm.
obviously, we were at MCM last month, and they had like a huge, like 2 hour cast
Uh-huh.
panel there that friend of the channel, Nikki, went to, and then signings and all that kind of stuff. So they're still doing a lot of stuff around that game. So yeah, I think it's going to be Baldur's Gate 3. I don't think there's going to be any competition there really.
Yeah. All right. Next category. This is fun. I'm liking this. I like, and especially now we
Uh,
made it a bit of a competition, friendly
best
competition.
multiplayer:
Uh,
Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2,
okay.
which you can play in co-op. I could see Black Ops 6 taking this because it's kind of people are very happy with the game in general.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Helldivers too. I know Sony shit the bed, but it still was a very popular multiplayer.
It,
So
it did go
Helldivers
out.
too.
It was huge at launch.
Mm.
Yeah, I think either one would be fairly deserving winner. All right, let's go. Because given we were talking about this a minute ago, best independent game. I have played none of these. I have two of them on my two playlist. We've
Okay.
got Animal Well,
Hmm.
Balatro, whichever way.
Mm.
I don't know. Someone tell me how I'm supposed to say it. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Never or Neva. I'm assuming it's Never. And UFO 50.
Holy shit! I've not heard of any of these, but I'm going to give my pick. I'm going to give a pick just for the because we got to. I'm going to go for Never because it
That's the
never
only one
wins.
there that I haven't heard of.
Yeah.
I think Balatro is going to win it.
All right.
If it's not, I think it'll be UFO 50 because that's also
No.
been very well received. I'll say Balatro. Uh, Here's a topical one, Paul. Best VR/AR game.
Oh shit. Oh, don't do we know enough for this? Clearly I don't, but yeah,
Yeah.
let's hear the nominees, please.
Arizona Sunshine remake. So Arizona Sunshine is like a zombie shooting game,
Yeah, I've
and
heard of
they've
that.
remade it.
Yeah.
Asgard's Wrath 2, which is a huge RPG, action RPG, that came bundled with the Quest 3 for a while. I have that. Batman Arkham Shadow, which came out recently and was very well
Mm.
received.
Hmm.
Metal Hellsinger VR, which I really want to play, but it's a separate purchase, and I already bought the game once on Steam. And then Metro Awakening, which also came out recently and was very well received. It's full on like Metro, like the Metro series,
Mm.
Metro 2023,
Oh
Metro
yeah.
2033 rather, and Metro Last Light and all that. This is a full on Metro game in VR.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Batman Arkham Shadow.
Well, I'm gonna just to have a different choice. I'm gonna go for Metro.
I think it's probably going to be between those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm struggling to think. I saw Asgard's Wrath too, and I was like, did that come out this year? It's just, I guess it must have done because I bought my Quest 3 in February and it came bundled with it. So it must have come out very early in the year. But yeah, I think any of those three could win it.
Mm.
Content Creator of the Year, we're not bothered. All right,
Really?
let's go with this one. Most anticipated. So, game people are most looking forward to.
Zero.
Death Stranding 2 On the Beach. I still can't believe it's called On the Beach. It makes it sound like a like beach episode or something.
Yeah.
Ghost of
Guess
Yote, which is the
that's been
Ghost of
getting
Tsushima follow-up.
yeah, that's been getting negative content about
I
it.
wonder
But
why.
I wonder why.
Grand, Grand Theft Auto 6, which is surely going to win it.
That's gonna win. That's gonna win.
Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Monster Hunter Wilds, which I think could give Grand Theft Auto 6 a bit of a fight, but I think it's going to be GTA 6.
It's gonna be GTA 6. Yeah.
That game's going to be absurdly huge when it comes out. And
Yeah.
again, I won't buy it or play it because I just don't like Rockstar games.
I like it. So I'll play it.
I like it a lot.
A lot, huh?
Yeah, never played a Rockstar game I've enjoyed. All right, best action adventure game.
Now we're talking.
We have Astro. Well, it just says Astro. I'm assuming that means Astrobot.
All right. Yeah. I think that's probably Astrobot. Yeah.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is like the 2D, well, 2.5D Metroidvania that came out. It's very well received. Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and then Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. I think that's the one where you play as Zelda, isn't it? That came out recently. Still need to pick that up at some point.
Yep.
I played none of those.
Yep. But we gotta give a pick.
I think Astro.
I'm gonna go. I was gonna go Astrobot, but I'm not. No, because you said it. So I'm gonna go for Silent Hill 2. I know I dislike the remakes, but I'm gonna go for Silent Hill 2.
All right, next up. Oh, this one's going to get your blood boiling. Best role-playing game. Actually, it won't. Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. There it is again, the DLC. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor ReFantasio, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Ooh. I think I know who's going to win. Metaphor. I think that's going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if Elden Ring won as well, but being a DLC, I kind of want a full new IP to win. So that's who I'm going to go for. Metaphor.
See, I think Metaphor winning kind of hinges on whether it wins any of the other big awards. I think if they don't give it if they don't give any of the other big awards to it, they'll give it best role playing game.
Yeah.
But to be different, I'm going to say Rebirth.
Is that an RPG? I love Final Fantasy, but it's really kind of not an RPG.
I haven't played it. I'm not allowed to play it yet, so I wouldn't know. I mean,
We
FF16 certainly isn't.
really a role playing game. Anyway, yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, this next category surely is just going to massively overlap with the one we did a minute ago. Best action game.
Okay.
Got Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2.
Um. Ooh. I I'm going to say Stellar Blade.
I was going to say that as well.
We can both say it. I'm going to say Stellar Blade. It might have like jiggly, jiggle physics, but the gameplay does look really good. And if you like Nier Automata, I think you're gonna people love that, and that was a good game, good action game. So I think Stellar Blade going to win it. And why not? Why not? It is good.
I think they'll give it to Stellar Blade.
So we're both going for Stellar Blade.
Haven't played it, but it's a very flashy looking game.
It looks good. Yeah. Maybe when it's on PC, I'll probably give it a go. Yeah. I never got a free copy. Thank you, Sony. But so yeah. But yeah, Stellar Blade.
All right, let's see what else we have. To try and see what else there is left that is of no, I don't think there's anything else left that we'd be particularly interested in.
All right. Should we just leave it at the Game Awards there and we go on to our next topic? How about that?
I think we've got about 3 weeks until the Game Awards, so we'll know who's won our competition then.
So yeah, that's our picks for the Game Awards. That was a nice little fun one. See who comes out on top in 3 weeks. Okay. Yeah. This next half of the podcast, I want to discuss what I've been thinking. That, well, it's not just me. I just, at the moment, there's a climate on the YouTube sort of gaming environment of sort of negative sort of atmosphere. It's with like a lot of games. It's happened for a while, but recently I think like every game that sort of gets announced or there's something that people don't agree with, it's getting a lot of sort of negative sort of coverage, and a lot of it's quite toxic. I wanted to talk about it because obviously the Veilguard was released about 2 weeks ago from the time of this recording, and that has got a lot of sort of negative sort of or I say fans, sort of negative sort of coverage. A lot of the gaming media have been fairly positive, but then a lot of the sort of YouTube sphere has been pretty negative. And I not just saying it's the Veilguard, but I've been noticing a lot of sort of negativity regarding games in general, and I don't know what it is. I can't really put my finger on it. If it's a particular type of game, if it has like a political sort of leaning, if it has a gender ideological agenda, it's been getting pretty like bashed, rightly or wrongly. I'm always want to watch something with sort of a creative criticism, not just outright bashing a game. I've been noticing it's been happening with like games that have not yet been released but are bound to. Indiana Jones. I know people have had sort of like a hands-on experience with it, and a lot of it's been positive. But then you get the sort of other end of it where it's sort of saying this is looking bad, this game's woke, this game is not going to, the pre-orders for this game is not looking pretty good. This is going to flop. And I'm just saying, well, from what I've seen, the game looks great. You can't say it doesn't look great. You can't say it doesn't look like it doesn't play good. I know that a lot of people didn't like the fact that it was first person. Maybe that's something to do with it, or there's some sort of other sort of, I don't know, sort of something, not conspiracy. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but some sort of thing that I'm not sort of seeing, if you know what I mean. Why certain games have been getting sort of really sort of pulled over the hot coals, and it seems like every game now is getting some sort of really bad negativity. Um, Star Wars Outlaws just got absolutely trashed. Um, from the character looking ugly, to the game was kind of broken. I heard it had a few bugs, but a lot of games come released with bugs, and they still turn out to be pretty good games. A prime example is Starfield. That got it got pretty universally hated on, even though a lot of people liked the game. Gaming journalists liked it a bit, but it seems like there's a big sort of community and people on Reddit and the game sphere that didn't like it, and I just want to understand like why this is sort of like it's becoming like a bit of a battleground in not just games, but I just want to talk about games in general, but in terms of like films and any sort of media that people don't like. Obviously, like you've had this like people criticizing films for the archetype, the quote unquote girl boss sort of main character, the race swapping. But I want to know why. I sort of want to talk about why it is that certain games are getting universally hated on, and it does affect the sort of people's opinion. I do know some game publishers have talked about like YouTubers having a negative effect on the reception of their games, and I'm all for criticism, like constructive, but when like Cyberpunk 2077 got sort of destroyed because it did come release in a buggy state, and that's justifiable. But when other games are just getting sort of I want to choose my words carefully, like getting sort of really attacked because of what some of the story can some of the representation in there. It if it has that sort of representation, either be if it's got a gay character, sort of trans character, any sort of thing that's this political sort of world we are at the moment, it gets absolutely destroyed. And I'm just sort of like getting a bit I find it sad, like you can't have variation in your game, you can't have like representation in your game, because why not, why can't you have that, and does that make the game automatically bad for having that in those sort of things in, like, people go with real world politics and stuff like that? But why can't it have that, and does it make it a bad game? And why are people just there's a subsection of like of YouTube that are just looking to find something wrong, and then it gets all, once one person says it will get the game gets piled on. Yeah, and I find it like sort of disheartening sometimes when I see that. And obviously, like Concord, people, that game didn't do very well. Loot shooter, paid £60. I can see that that's not really great when you can play free ones. But the things they were pointing out about the character designs and the themes and what people thought were the sort of the message that they were trying to send out, it got sort of picked apart for that, because of that. And people are really gleeful about games failing and people losing their jobs. and stuff like that. And I'm just kind of like, because like we go to cons and stuff, and there's all types of people there who go there to enjoy the con, and because it makes them feel good. We enjoy it because we're around sort of people with similar tastes and sort of similar sort of mind. Not 100%, obviously, but it's nice that they can go there and feel. It's another buzzword, like a safe space for them, if that makes sense. And that's that in games where they they get attacked, people get attacked for how they are, how they think, and what they feel. I think it's like it's a sad state of affairs, and I know there's a lot of sort of drama YouTube channels that sort of thrive on that. And like, I don't know, like, would I say I'm in the middle? No, I'm probably not. I just want everyone to be like sort of enjoy their medium. And again, I bring up the Veil Guard, people going on. I didn't find it. Remember, I've always said I didn't like the art style, didn't like the direction. But then like people are just saying this is sort of like a pile of garbage. This is woke. This is like they're setting an agenda and stuff. I watched a few videos of people like Skill Up who had like legitimate like criticisms. They didn't want to mention anything about like sort of like the sort of political sort of leanings. And I just feel if you have something legitimately criticism to say, there are criticism, and I get that, but I don't want something just to be bashed because you don't agree with a particular sort of like way of that the game is, that if that makes sense. I mean, I'm kind of rambling here, and I want to think your opinion. Do you think like the gaming sphere has become really like it's been building up for a while, but now it's become more and more sort of more and more prominent, and I just feel like with media in general, it's getting a bit horrible. It's getting a bit nasty out there. I'm not saying everyone should be nice to each other. I'm not saying that. I mean, I don't want it to be a world in The Simpsons or something where everyone has like in all that Treehouse of Horror where everyone has to be nice to each other. Like when Ned Flanders was in control of the world and he made everyone like, if you didn't agree with him, he will lobotomize you. I'm not saying that, but there's got to be like, you can have a game like Stellar Blade, sexy character, right? Yeah, jiggles and all that. Yeah, you can have that, but why can't you have another game that's not like that, if that makes sense? You know what I'm trying to say? I'm like saying you got those sort of games. I mean, you've always had those sort of games. You had Dead or Alive, beach volleyball with just like the girls in their sexy bikinis. Now that's fine. I know that developers are trying to shy away from that, but why can't you have the other thing where the character's not like 10 out of 10? You know, I mean, I like good-looking characters. I do. I do. Like, it's just how it is. But I'm not gonna like with Fable. Like, the people didn't like the character design of the main character. I know you can customize them, but they were just going about the look. I was like, fuck that. What's the game like? The game looks fucking amazing, man. And I've heard it's like people like Jez Gordon's had a hand on that sort of look at the alpha. He said it plays like a Witcher 3, and I said, hey. That sounds amazing.
He said the combat looks like Witcher 3. Hasn't actually played it.
Okay. Well, he looks like
in the way that I think he's just like commenting on. Obviously, you have like sword and magic and stuff.
Well, that's good.
Freely switch between them.
Yeah, but yeah, like, what do you think? Because I feel like I've been sort of trying to like this is the thing. Like, I'm sort of not in the middle, but I lean to one side. Yeah. But I just want to like your opinion on it. Like, do you find it as well? Like, it's my algorithm on YouTube. I'm just getting too much of this negativity, and I was like, did I even watch? Have I even watched this guy's video, these people's videos before? Why am I getting all this? I search something on the Veilguard, and I just get just all this barrage of like hate and stuff, and I'm just like, what? What's going on here, man? So, like, what do you think?
So a few things. Um, so first off, yeah, the algorithm is a big part of the issue because people engage more with negative content because either they feel a certain way and they want to like go and whine about it, and then either that or it riles them up, so then they want to go and argue. Whatever the case is, negativity just gets more eyes on stuff, which makes more people do it. But I mean, like, um, yeah, it's just there have been content creators like um, Jim Sterling a while back. Their content was getting more and more negative, and their viewer base wasn't really into it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And they came out and they said, like, this is what gets people watching it, unfortunately. When they said, when I do like more positive stuff, or when I do just like videos of just playing a game and giving impressions on it, it gets no views. And then I do a video complaining about something and people watch it and then like go off in the comments. So a large part of it is the just the engagement with it. And it's these social media sites, it's not just YouTube, it's all over. It's like things like Twitter as well. They're designed to just throw more of whatever's trending at you. And so if more people are engaging with hate and negativity, it will just keep throwing hate and negativity at you, and then people just get into a massive like spiral of doom scrolling awful shit. So part of it is that, which as you've touched on, like you say, you go and watch something fairly unrelated, and then it will just throw a load of shit you don't want to see at you. Kind of related to that, you said like you have some stuff you don't not particularly pleased about. Obviously, you haven't played Veilguard, but from what you've seen about it, it's not really doing much to draw you in.
Really.
You have reasons that you're not really feeling that into it. But the fact that there's a massive kind of hate campaign about it, having bits of like progressive ideology in it, triggering a lot of snowflakes, means that you kind of can't have any kind of negative view on the game without getting pulled into all that anti-progressive stuff as well. And it's like the game director of BioWare of Veilguard is a trans woman, Corinne Bush. So of course her worldview and her beliefs are going to kind of come through in the final product. I think that's a good thing. A lot of angry people obviously aren't going to agree. And then they're going to go online and shout about it because, again, as you mentioned, people have Stellar Blade. Why can't they just be happy they have a game that's apparently purely exists to titillate people, given some of the gifs I've seen and some of the stuff I've heard about that studio. That isn't, having one game like that isn't enough. Having 100 games like that isn't enough. They want all games to be like that, where just, they're 100% catered towards them. They want to be the only market. The fact that they're not the only market is triggering them to such a degree because they're used to being the only demographic that what anyone ever catered to. And now there's stuff out there. You've got more like trans and LGBT plus people coming into game development, which is a good thing. More viewpoints on stuff, can get more diverse games. Those people are coming in and they're putting their worldview and their lived experience into their games, which is a good thing. And they don't like that because now suddenly that thing isn't specifically aimed towards them. It's not aimed at them. It's just not specifically aimed at them. They can still go and play that thing. There's probably still loads of stuff in it they'll enjoy, but because it has some of that stuff in there that reminds them that it's not specifically only for them, they get very upset about it. And it does feel like, as I say, like it's a lot of it's the algorithm pushing this stuff at us, but it does feel like there's more of it recently. It feels like we're kind of on the cusp of like Gamergate 2.0. It feels like it's kind of taken off again and getting extremely negative and toxic again. I mean, you had this. I don't know if you saw this recently. There's like a consulting company called Sweet Baby Inc.
Yeah.
And all they do basically is like they consult um, on specific things in games to make sure they're not kind of like doing anything that could be disrespectful to like minorities or LGBT people, stuff like that. It's a consulting company. The developers go to them and say, "Hey, is there anything in this that is going to be like disrespectful that we like? We don't want to do that. So just go
Mm.
through it and just make sure we haven't made a mistake somewhere." That's all they're about. But now those same angry people think that Sweet Baby Inc. secretly run the industry from the shadows, and they're going around changing people's games, and the poor game developers who would really like to just make games for straight male gamers, please, are being like pressured into to putting trans stuff in their games, and it's just so tiresome.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
I don't know what else to say beyond that, but a lot of it is that's the stuff that gets pushed by these algorithms, and the tech companies have a responsibility to kind of police this stuff, and they absolutely do not. They leave it all up to automated systems and algorithms and whatever, and they do nothing to clean up their own platforms. And
Mm.
you look on Twitter, like even over the last even years ago, like 5 years ago, Twitter was an absolute hellscape at points of just constant negativity and people screaming at each other. And you go on and you think, I thought the internet was supposed to be like the great leveler. Everyone gets their voice, everyone gets to participate, and all it is just people shouting at each other and being angry about stuff that doesn't really actually mean anything to them. It's just tech companies have abdicated their responsibility on this, as far as I'm concerned. They need to
Mm-hmm.
be doing more to kind of. It's just it's because it's all about selling adverts. They want ad impressions. So it's like what's getting the most views? It's this. So let's push that to everyone. We can slap ads on it and make money. And it's like anytime I see something on YouTube, my personal YouTube's pretty curated at this point, because anytime I'll go on the homepage and just look for stuff to watch, and if I see something and think that looks suspect, I'll immediately just click on it and go do not recommend, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of it suddenly like um throwing fucking anti-progressive and bloody alt-right shit at me. No, thank you. I'm not even gonna take the chance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, like you can have. There was a lot of people that had issues with Star Wars Outlaws as well, not to do with anything sort of like any social stuff in it. Just like they didn't think it looked particularly fun. They think they're a bit burnt out on Ubisoft games and stuff like that. And and then that all going to get subsumed into the same thing. So then you get kind of um the other side of it is people saying, "Oh well, if you're negative about this game, then you must be um an asshole or something." And it's just like it all just gets churned into this massive just negativity and shit. Um, yeah, it's a mess, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what we do about it other than just try and curate our own feeds and just despair at the tech companies that are making money out of us.
Yeah. It's not a good place to be sometimes. You know what I mean? I think it's good to just switch off for a while. Put your phones down, just sort of disconnect. Um, and just sort of get a
Go out
few
and
hours
touch
off here.
grass.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing because it could drive you crazy, man. It could really drive you crazy. Um,
I do think it is driving people crazy. Just the
mm,
constant swirl of negativity. And it's
mhm.
made to be kind of addictive. Like you see people on TikTok and they're just on there for hours, just like swiping on their phone, and it's just like, are you going to do anything else? It's made to be addictive, and it's effectively at this point made to be a churn of negativity. So it's not healthy. It's not going to be. It's some. I don't know. Something
Mm,
needs to happen. But I don't. Not necessarily saying I want governments to step in and
mhm.
start regulating stuff, but I don't know what the answer is short of that, to be honest, because the tech companies aren't going to fix their own
Mm.
shit.
I
Too
don't
busy
think
making money out of it.
I don't think the government will step in. It won't, and I don't think that will be a good idea. To be honest, that will just open another
Probably,
can of worms.
probably not, to be honest.
No, no, it won't be. People will say you're, especially in America, you're the free speech, freedom to expression, um, which
Yeah,
is
but the people
good.
say that mean free speech for me, but not for the
Yeah, I mean,
Elon Musk.
yeah, I mean, like I'll give an example for the other side. It's when Hogwarts Legacy was released, people saying they're not going to play it because of the association with J.K. Rowling. The game just got shunned by all the awards and gaming media. Even though the game was probably the best seller of last year, I think. I think a lot of people went out there just to buy it, just to not even if they like Harry Potter, just to buy the game, just to stick a finger up to like the progressives. But it also works the other way. A lot of people would bought the Veilguard and heard about some of its left leaning, sort of queer and sort of themes, and they just shit on it. They just shit on it. I go on Metacritic and I was just like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? It was just like 0.00011, and I was like,
I mean,
these
Metacritic user reviews are another thing we could talk
yeah.
about.
I mean, like, I was like, I don't even think these people played the game. They just heard about the woke stuff and they just wrote, "Oh, this game's a woke has a woke agenda." I was like, "What about the game? What about the game itself?" I didn't.
I mean, have they
I
played a Dragon Age game before?
I mean,
Have they played a BioWare game before?
exactly. Bioware's always
One of the
been
best
sort
moments
of
in Dragon Age Inquisition is like Dorian's showdown with his father.
his father.
That moment
Yeah,
is so good.
that's what I brought. I think I brought that out once when because when we found out all the characters in the Veilguard will be like pansexual. I was like, I kind of like the like where they have their sexuality. You can have a pan character, but you wouldn't get that moment with Dorian if he wasn't gay. And I thought that was a great moment where he's like, "I like the company of men." So hey, and his dad's
His,
just like,
his voice acting in that whole scene is so good.
good, yeah. You can really feel the pain in his voice, the anguish, of just talking to his father and trying to explain to him who he is and what he, the person he is. But yeah, that was great. Um, it's just a shame. Like that's why we can't have nice things, really.
Hmm.
You know, the world is big enough. The gaming world is big enough for everything. It's a big spectrum. It's vast. There's games out there for everyone. If why can't people who have not had themselves represented in games be represented? It's why can't we? It seems like if we go back a few years, there wasn't that much representation for the LGBT plus community. Not really. There was a bit, but why can't they have games? And people will
I mean,
say,
it's
"Well,
still
what?"
mostly in indie games at this point.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, people will say, "Well, why can't they develop their own games? Why do you have to take an IP?" I was
Well, now
like,
they are.
I was like, well, Dragon Age, you can play as a gay character, bisexual. You could sleep with anyone. It had very progressive views, but it
Player
seems like
sexual is the term they like
yeah,
to use.
yeah. I mean that,
Party
but
just always loved the player, whoever the player is.
yeah, I mean, why not? And I don't know. It's I think there's enough out there for everyone. Well, I think you can have representation in games. It's not a bad thing, and
Not just
yeah,
you can, you should.
well, you should, and you can have games that are just completely aimed at the at the LGBT plus community. Well, we got plenty of games. Well, I've got plenty of games as a straight white, straight Hispanic male, mixed race, and I'm perfectly happy. If I want to play like Stellar Blade and look at jiggly tits, there we go. I can do that. I used
Well, you
did
can't
I,
because you haven't got a PS5.
Well, when it comes out on PC. Um, but yeah, I think gaming should be for everyone. And if you don't like it, if you don't think people should, I think you should. I think gaming's not for you, man. I mean, like, you can't. There's gonna the newer generation are coming are growing up, and they're gonna they're gonna have to. There will be representation. There have to be. The gaming world has evolved, and I'm hoping that in the newer generation, when they bring through newer ideas, it'll be more welcoming. It should be a welcoming place, you know. So yeah, that's kind of like, I remember when the new Ghost of Tsushima sequel got announced, and they had a female lead who identifies as non-binary. There was a big shitstorm over that. They go, "Oh, there goes it, just ruined. It's infecting the Japanese gaming industry now." And I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Somewhat similarly as well, obviously, because it's kind of set in the same sort of place and time. The new AC Shadow's got a lot of shit as well, because you finally play as a Japanese character, but oh no, it's a woman.
Yeah.
And instead of having like a Japanese samurai, you get a black guy instead. It's like,
Fuck it, hell.
it's like, yeah, Yasuke,
What?
who is a known historical figure.
Yeah. I mean, we had Shogun, and that was based on a historical figure. The English sailor went to Japan, and they sort of sidelined him because they found out he's a bit boring, and they made Toriyama the main sort of character, and I think it worked better. I remember watching the original show on with Richard Chamberlain, and it was good. I watched the updated version, and it was fucking amazing. But yeah, that's it. I mean, who knows if people will watch this or listen to this podcast, watch this video, and think we're a bunch of like lefty loonies.
I know, what a shame.
Damn. Um, who want people to enjoy gaming. Yeah.
Who want people to see them feel themselves being seen in the media they enjoy. What a terrible thing.
Especially in RPG, you should be able to make your character a person to represent you. I mean, myself, I've never really been that bothered about having creating how I look in the game. When I play The Witch, I'm happy to play as Geralt. I'm happy to play as the default shepherd. But people want to see themselves in it and want to see them in the game. So why not? What harm is it doing to you? Are you going to die if they play this game? Was something bad's going to happen? Are you going to like melt like in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade what was the first one again? Not the Temple of Doom.
No.
The Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Lost Ark, yeah. When he opens, when they Nazis, the Nazis, and then your face just melt. So that's what's going to happen when you boot the game up. No, it's not, man. So come on, guys. It's here. It's not going to go anywhere. All right. Come on, guys.
Indiana Jones. That's out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's like I said, I was getting some negativity from the same old creators that I watch, who just seem to every video they make is negativity. And like you said, it sells.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's not all to do with like social issues. A lot of it is just people just want to be negative about things. But Avowed has had some previews recently, like this last week. Almost all of them glowing, some of them optimistic, some of them cautiously optimistic. I think I only really saw one that was a bit. I think it was Patrick Klepek, who used to write for Kotaku. I can't remember who he writes for now. He put out a preview and he was like, "I'm not sure about this," and people latched onto that. When there was 30 other previews that were very positive, and people latched onto that and were like, "Oh, clearly it's a disaster." It's like it's one guy's opinion. Like you're gonna, absolutely no shade thrown at him. I think he's a good writer, but it's just his opinion. Just like all the positive ones are also people's opinions. But
Mm.
It had a lot of positive chatter.
Can I
People
can,
seem to
can,
like about
can
it.
I ask you something, Mr. Rawls?
No,
Okay.
no, go on.
Are you a paid shill? 'Cause that seems to
Yes.
be that for people who don't know is sarcasm.
Obsidian
No,
have paid me off. That's
that's
why I still live in one room.
yeah. That's
Using
if you give a
8-year-old
positive
laptop for this podcast.
if you give a positive review, you must be a paid shill. So there, that's the world we live in.
Hey, I wouldn't mind. Hit me up, Obsidian. I'll shill for you.
Yeah,
Give me money and
yeah,
free games.
yeah. Please, Bioware, you listening? Give us free games. Come on, we love your games. Been playing them since like 2003, man. You know what I mean? Like half my life. Anyway,
Damn, you old.
I'm old. We are old. So
Is that why you're complaining about all this negativity?
I'm becoming like the old man, just complaining at things. Like,
Complaining about complaining.
yeah. Anyway, let's just I don't say be nice to each other because I can be not a nice person.
Oh God,
Uh, yeah, you know, but yeah, it's life's too short to be angry. I just want people to be happy, happy with
maybe just
themselves.
maybe just
Yeah,
stop looking for the worst in everything.
yeah,
There's so
Snip-
much cynicism in the world.
uh,
To a degree, I get it. Like things are kind of falling apart around our ears, but constant ultra cynicism isn't doing anyone any favors.
who
Like if
knows,
someone
man?
says this looks good and your immediate thought is looks shit to me, it's like
Yeah, I
just keep it
mean,
to yourself.
who knows? We could be at war with Russia by the time this podcast comes out, and then we're all
Okay.
fucked. Then this is all trivial, isn't it? This is all
Yeah.
bollocks. You know, I mean, the grand scheme of things. We could be attacked by that crazy little man in Russia, and
Well, he's definitely going to attack you now.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't put it past him. Our government's so weak when it comes to the Russians. They can just come in there and poison people, and we're just like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Very naughty thing you did.
That's you poisoned that poor activist.
It's
Damn.
absolutely not cricket.
No, can't do that. And he's like, what are you going to do about it? Oh, we're going to get the Americans to write a really strongly worded response to you. And we're hiding behind the US. Ooh, you. Ooh.
Hanging behind like Jabba's little mate.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's the podcast, guys. Yeah, let us know what you think.
Or maybe don't.
Or don't. And if you hate us, that's fair enough. That's you have the right to dislike and hate us for not sort of agreeing with you. But that's how it is. That's the world. That's the world we live in. And you tell people to toughen up. You should probably look in the mirror and take your own fucking advice. So there you are. There we go. So yeah, this podcast is available on all streaming, it's available on Spotify, all the other podcast platforms apart from Apple Music, because boo to them.
Because Paul temporarily lost the power of speech.
Yeah, did. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe out there and keep drinking. Bye.
Definitely do that. Bye.